Miss America started in the 1920s. And that was a very different time in our country. And so I think whenever you think of an organization that's created in 1920, it's not necessarily created with us in mind.
Right.
So I think it takes a lot of showing up, saying this is who I am, and this is why I'm here, and this is what I bring to this organization.
Here we go.
Money, money, making crap for money, money, and
What's up, guys? This is Brianna Moore, your host of the Conversations Unearthed podcast, where y'all come for me, but you stay for the guests. Today, yeah, we got somebody very, very special here today. Thank you so much for being here. We have none other than Miss Virginia. It's claps. You can't hear it because you're in the
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Of course. So this is Miss Carlehr Swanson. Look, the reason why I started this show is because I wanted to give the people in Richmond, Virginia, their flowers for being outstanding people. And a lot of times we see people walking around and, you know, we never know who they are or what they contributed to being here. So from myself and the Richmond community, thank you so much for everything you've done. And just let us know how you feeling.
Well, first, thank you. Thank you for that. And I feel great. Towards the end of being Miss Virginia, and it's a bittersweet moment because I went on a school tour where I visited 70 elementary schools across the state of Virginia. And so it was just a blessing to see that impact that I was able to have on children and to show them, you know, you can do this too. You can go to college. There's scholarship opportunities. But also, I'm excited to go back to a regular schedule and not drive so much. But it's truly been a blessing.
Okay, cool. How's your heart? Let's just ask. Let's just get that out the way first, because that's something we don't talk about a lot. You know, you taking in a lot of energy. So I just want to know, like, how's that?
Man, I might get emotional. My heart is full because it was a 10-year journey to becoming Miss Virginia. And I think it's difficult sometimes when you're in a field or area when you're constantly being judged, or you think, maybe if I was more like this, maybe if I talked more, maybe if I looked like this, maybe I would have this opportunity. And to see that God fulfilled his promise in my life. You know, I saw how faithful he was throughout this process. And I also, you know, it really wasn't about winning at the end. It was about this process that he took me through and what I learned about myself through this 10-year journey. And also just, you know, him telling me to sit back and watch me work, because when you have your time at being Miss Virginia, I'm going to make everything perfect for you. And so that's what I feel like this year has been.
I love that. And I know we're going to get to the finances, but shout out to your mom. Mom's over here. She don't want to be on camera, but mom is here. And we were talking a little bit before, and being in pageants and things like that was something that she wanted to do. So it's kind of like you are living out kind of what she put out that she wanted to be, but it's like you kind of a living reincarnation of what she wanted. How does that feel?
That's a blessing too. I feel like I have the best mom in the world. Aww. And she really made sure I had everything that I needed to be successful, not just in pageantry, but also in school. Education was really important. I went to summer school, even when I didn't have to, had a math tutor, an English tutor, not only education, but she taught me how faith was so important. You know, going to church at a young age and being involved in the choir and knowing that, you know, God is the foundation for everything. And then also just making sure I had a talent, because she was always on, you know, one day you're going to want to be in a talent show and you need a talent. So she gave me those piano lessons.
Are you the only child?
I am.
Okay. Piano. You play piano too?
I do.
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Now let's get into let's take it back.
Okay.
What's your first ever memory of money?
It would have to be at 7 years old. I started playing the piano for my Sunbeam choir at church, and I made $5 a Sunday.
I love that.
And that was, and it was a really valuable lesson for me, because it really wasn't about the amount of money that the church gave me. It was just showing me that, hey, you're valued for your talents, what you're contributing is important, and that you can use this gift that God gave you to sustain your life.
You know what? I tell a story like this all the time when I'm talking to people about my journey podcasting, because like I was telling you before, a lot of people don't understand how to crack the code in making money in podcasting. So I feel like you being here is so divine, because I always revert back. I'm not sure what movie I was watching. It might have been Ray Charles. I don't know. But somebody who was a really good musician who's famous now, he was singing in the choir one day. Right after he got off stage, probably like 7 to 8 years old at the time, somebody gave him $1. His aunt came around the corner and was like, look at that. You is a paid musician. And I always tell that story when it comes to podcasting, because like I made my first amount of money. It wasn't a lot, but like that currency, that value, it's like, I'm a paid podcaster. Like, don't nobody else think nothing of me. I have gotten paid for my talent. So, I love that story. So you were a classical pianist at the church at 7 years old.
Yes.
And you got paid $5.
$5 a Sunday.
Oh my God! Did anybody negotiate that price for you? Or
I don't think there was no negotiation. It was a love offering.
Okay.
They put it in the envelope. It said, "Sister, little Miss Sister Swanson." That's what it said.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to y'all. Was financial literacy something that you were taught, or did you have to learn it on your own?
It was something I was taught growing up. Again, my mom was really a stickler on saving your money. Being able to use the talents that you have to make money, and now being an adult, setting up your Roth IRA and making sure you have a retirement, making sure you'll be taken care of and you won't be working all of your life. You'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So she really instilled that in me.
Wow. Okay. It's not a lot of people that come up here who have that experience. So I'm tripping up right now.
Okay.
Because I'm like, it's interesting. So becoming Miss Virginia and pursuing a PhD. So let me take it back a little bit, because PhD, you need money to do that. Miss Virginia, I'm sure you need money to be in these pageants, and I'm sure it's not cheap. You did tell me that, which I didn't know, Miss Virginia does get paid, like a stipend.
You do.
So do you have to win an award in order to get the stipend, or like how does that work?
So the great thing about the Miss America opportunity at the local level, at the state level, there's kind of scholarship opportunities available for anything. So, if you do a local pageant, Miss Greater Richmond, and you're first runner up, there's a scholarship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Before I won Miss Virginia, I won the talent award several times. I've been third runner-up twice. I've been fourth runner-up, and that's come with a good chunk of change. So I would say over this 10-year journey, I've earned $70,000.
What?
In scholarships.
You said 10 year?
Yes, 10 years.
$70,000. And how old are you again?
28.
I don't think I touched that money. I don't think I've touched that. I touched that when I was your age growing up. Interesting. So how has that well, for one, let me think. Is that something, I know you didn't go into it to make money, but how has that been, knowing that like you can do something that you love and make money from it? Because it's a lot of people out here working a job that they don't want to do just to make ends meet. So for you, how does that feel that you can do something that you love and make money from it? Because passion is sometimes not paying the bills. Your passion is paying the bills. So congratulations. But how does that feel?
I think it's wonderful because I've been able to put all of my interests together. So being a PhD student, I've been in school a long time. So there's that scholarship piece. I'm also a singer and a pianist. And as Miss Virginia, I've gotten to travel across the state and showcase my talent. And I also want to be a professor. So I've been able to go to elementary schools and inform students about the healthy and the positive choices. So for me, the money is great and the scholarships, but it's also been a merger of all of my interests.
Okay. So if your bank account could talk to you right now, what would it say?
It would say good job, I'm trying to cut back on the Starbucks trips and those little miscellaneous things.
What do you order from Starbucks? What does Miss Virginia order from Starbucks?
I love a venti hot latte with oat milk.
Ooh, okay. See, I like the almond milk. I'm lactose intolerant, as everybody else is in America, but the oat milk that send me, Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. Do you consider yourself a saver or a spender?
I think I alternate between the two.
Okay.
I'm really good at saving, but I also like things. Now I'll get into a mode where I'm like, maybe I need something from Five Below. I need a new phone case. I need, and then Amazon doesn't make it any better because anytime you think about something, you can just go and get it. So I think I alternate between the two.
Yeah, and they've set it up so that it's just easy. They have a buy now button now, which they pay billions of dollars to get. So, okay, I'm looking at something. What is Coffee with Carlehr?
So I host a gospel radio show on Charlottesville's 101.3 Jams.
Okay.
And it's kind of a play on words because I love coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. But yeah, as self-care tips that I give, I talk about the latest in gospel music. I also have something called an artist series, which you should come on, I interview. They're not necessarily musicians. They're people just making a positive contribution to the world because I feel like you're making the world more beautiful and artists. So it comes on every Sunday, 4 to 8 a.m.
Ooh, okay, 4 to 8 a.m. Y'all heard it here first. Well, y'all might have heard it before here, but y'all got tune in. Yes. I keep looking at your camera. I need to look at my camera. Fire round. Yes or no? Okay. Do you check your bank account daily?
Yes.
Have you ever made a budget and stuck to it?
No.
Yeah. Have you ever made a budget?
Yes.
Okay, but not stuck to it. I got you. Do you use any money apps to track your spending?
No.
Do you think money can buy peace of mind?
Yes.
Have you ever made a financial decision based purely on faith?
Yes.
What was that?
I think going to college and majoring in music.
Ooh, okay. Okay. And what well, I know this fire round, but now I'm interested. What are you getting the PhD in again?
So it's called Critical and Comparative Studies in Music. Some places call it ethnomusicology. So it's the study of music and how it affects people, places, and cultures. So I do a lot of reading and writing. My specific interest is gospel music and how it affects people and places. And I also do a lot of research about community engagement and how music can be a vehicle to do that work.
Okay. Growing up, because I know I'm pretty sure this podcast has diagnosed me with ADHD because I be going from here to there. Growing up, only child, 2-parent household?
Just my mom.
Just your mom? Okay, me too. Yeah, my mom's very independent, which I feel like made me very independent.
Yes.
Is that in your life at all?
He's there. He's very cool. Supportive. But,
okay, I got you. How is that kind of growing up with, a lot of female support? I'm assuming because you're in pageants and things like that. But sometimes, me personally, I feel like I may be missing that piece, like that masculine piece. My dad passed before I was born, so it was like, I can't. I mean, I could be mad at it because of how it happened, but like I can't really be mad at it. So I guess I'm just wondering, like, growing up, how was that?
I think growing up, I saw the purpose of teamwork. My mom and I, we worked together as a team, whether that was her, having to pick me up on her lunch break so I could get picked up from school, and maybe I would have to wait until she got off, or maybe, had to take the chicken out the fridge so she would have something to cook. So I really learned, how to be independent and to know that whatever things she was doing to make a sacrifice so I could have a better life, I needed to work with her. And I think that's been helpful as an adult, learning how to collaborate, learning how to be independent.
Yeah. And you're like, you answer these questions so well. Like I can tell either you have a radio show or you're like Miss America. Like, I don't know. Like it's one of the two. It's
the pageantry.
It's the pageantry. How long does it take? I feel like I might need some training sometimes because I'm used to asking the questions, but when I have to answer them, it get a little shaky. So I guess I'm wondering for the people too, maybe people who are listening who want to do what you do, some advice on pageantry, looking the part, sounding the part, maybe media training as well. Like where does that fit in? Is that something that you outsource, or are we on YouTube, or how do you learn those skills?
Yeah, so the interview is a big portion of the pageant. So you have like a private 10-minute interview
for
local pageants in Miss Virginia. And ways that I've prepared for that, is watching the news, so you can be asked a range of questions, but also not just listening to the news, but watching how the news reporters, how they interact, how they speak, watching a lot of interviews and see how people answer questions, but also knowing that ultimately you're in control of the interview. Like, they can ask you questions, but you can have maybe 3 things that you want to get out. And so any answers, you can incorporate those 3 things. And yeah, I would say having 3 things you want to get out, watching the news, being informed, and also just knowing that there's not a right or a wrong answer. It's truly how well do you articulate your opinion. So that's for the interview. And then there's walking, you model an evening gown, and then there's fitness. Yeah. But my mom was really my first pageant coach. So I didn't outsource anything in the beginning. We would be in the living room and she would set the mirror up and she would be like, do it again. Walk slow. Take your time. Hold your head like you're supposed to. All those kinds of things. So it definitely was my mom and I in the beginning. And then the more you get involved, you have like local directors and your state directors. Then you meet friends. It's really a community and other people start to help.
Okay, cool. And you say your tenure is coming to an end. When is it? When is it done?
June 28th.
Oh, soon. Okay. Going right into the 3rd quarter. You'll be done right before July 1st. Okay, so this is this kind of your main source of income right now? Because I guess you can't really do anything else, right?
So it's a full-time job.
Jesus.
So this is my source of income right now. And the biggest thing is my school tour. So we have a partnership with ABC, Alcoholic Beverage Control, and I'm their ambassador for their community engagement program. So I go into the schools and I talk about these healthy and positive choices.
Wait a minute. ABC, the alcohol store.
Yes.
Is have you endorsing them?
Yes, because they want
inside of the schools.
Yeah, I mean, it's their outreach branch.
Okay,
so they want to give back and let kids know that this is available, but this is how you should make the healthy choices surrounding it.
Okay, I got you. It's kind of like that disclaimer that the casinos have. Like, if you have a gambling issue, this is what number to call. And then they have outreach too. I heard that they're obligated to give a certain amount of money to, I guess, people and nonprofits per year because they make so much money. Yeah. How's that been an ABC ambassador?
It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to see all of the students across the state. And I realized students just want someone to listen to them. Mm-hmm. And a big part of it, also, I think it's important that people realize students need to implicitly hear what is a healthy choice, especially in the age of social media where students can sit with their iPad for hours at a time, sitting on the computer screen. So to be able to tell them about that has been super impactful, but also telling them how my favorite thing, music, is a healthy choice. And so I do this little exercise when I'm like, what's your favorite song? Okay, now how do you feel when you listen to that favorite song? And they're like, calm, peaceful, excited. So I get to show them how, here's some coping skills for all these difficult things you could be facing. You can turn to music.
Okay. And music is like a form of therapy too. I mean, our bodies are 70% water, and music is like vibrations. I feel like that can change your whole mood. So how, like, when you go into these schools, are you acting as like kind of like the special event for them, or do you have like a certain group of students that you see, or is it like an everyday thing, every week thing? How is that?
So it was almost every day.
Wow.
And I could be in Virginia Beach one day, in Richmond, and Bristol, and Roanoke, so all over. And that's always an exciting part because I never really know exactly what's going to happen when I get to the school. Sometimes it's like a moving up ceremony for the 5th graders. Sometimes it's the whole school. So I'm talking to 400 kids in an auditorium. Wow. Sometimes it's just the 5th grade. Sometimes it's just a 2nd grade group of girls. So it really just depends on the needs of the school or their scheduling, or sometimes a lot of the times it's like a special treat for the students.
That's what it sounds like. Like if I was in elementary school and they said like you were coming, I think I would be really excited. For one, to me, because you're not somebody that's like easy to find. Maybe on TV we flip, and we'll see you or whatever. But like somebody just out in the community, that's cool. It's kind of like you got an NIL deal. Like that's what it feels like, kind of, sort of. From because it's not just about being pretty, you know. I mean, you are, but like essentially an NIL deal for being pretty, talented, and educated. Who would have thought that this was something you could get paid for? That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So what's next? Like, what's next? Are you thinking about a certain type of like job? I know. Well, are you going all into like PhD?
Yes. So I'm going to the 5th year, and I just have my dissertation left. So I'm finishing up writing the dissertation, and I'm applying to professor jobs out there. So I want to teach in like a music history department, a history department, an English department, teaching about my love for American music, being able to do that. Also, I have a community service initiative called Music Is You, where I take music into schools and nursing homes, and I talk about how it unites us and how it has healing power. So I want to continue doing that, going into schools and nursing homes and raising the awareness about music.
Okay. This is really interesting. Okay, and one question I always like to ask: are you dating?
I am not.
Oh, okay. Have you dated?
I have.
Before? Okay.
Yes.
Are you looking to date?
I'm looking for a husband.
For a husband?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Are you on? Look, it's hard to find. It's hard to find them these days because
it's a mess out here.
It's real. Oof, it's real bad out here. But are you even somebody that can be on an app? like, because we got Tinder, and we got Hinge and Bumble and all of these. Is that something that that you do? Like, are you on the app swiping sometimes?
That's a funny question. You know, I think the apps are okay until people Google you, and then they think it's like a catfish, and then it's a whole thing, and then you just delete the accounts.
That's the same thing Keke Palmer said. They said because she said she was on that dating apps and people didn't believe it was her. So, all right, is the presidency affecting you at all? Well, not you, because I mean it's affecting a lot of people, but the Miss Virginia profession or the pageant profession, have you seen that affected at all?
Not necessarily the pageant profession. I think one of the unique things about Miss Virginia is kind of you just get to have fun. You're an ambassador for the whole state and bringing people together and uniting people. So not in a political way. Okay,
not in a political way. Okay, cool. And it seems like for you, like it make you know, that's what I've learned about Virginia is it's so tight knit and close that like you gotta kind of know somebody to get what you need. But you've already proven that you know you can do the thing that you're going to school for. So I don't foresee it being hard for you to get. Have you thought about that? Like, is that something that you've like thought about, like getting a job after? I know you just said you were looking for one, but like, has anybody reached out?
No one has reached out as of yet, but the great thing about being Miss Virginia, you have so many different types of appearances.
Yeah.
So I was able to go to Virginia State, and I did a guest lecture for their business school. I had a concert at Christopher Newport University. I was at an event last week, and I met the president of Virginia Tech.
Wow.
So I've made some great connections, and that's been, you know, a great benefit of being Miss Virginia.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. All right. What is something that was normal in your household when growing up that you now realize is not common in others, if anything?
I'm a little scared. My mom's here. We don't like to wash dishes, so we love our paper plates, our
girl,
plastic,
me too.
Our plastic silverware, our paper cups, and we have dishes. It's just the fact of why would we go through that when we could just, you know.
Okay, I love that. I recently moved my mama in with me, and man, she washes dishes all the time, but she get irritated when I don't. And I'm like,
so you gotta get your paper plates, then you won't have to wash them.
Yeah, that's true. I'll try. Usually I just get an attitude and wash them. Shout out to you, mama. I did leave something in the sink. When you get home, you'll see it. My bad. Okay. Have you ever cried listening to a song because it was so deep and you related to the message?
Probably a lot. I love music, and I know like the power of lyrics. Probably the song "Let Go and Let God" by Dwayne Woods. It's one of the earliest songs I learned to like sing and play on the piano, and I've sung it at so many points in my life. Happy, sad, moving back home from college, going to church the Sunday after my grandma passed away, all of those things. And I feel like no matter what I'm going through, it's just a reminder that God has all of this and I don't have to worry.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. What is a financial prayer or affirmation that keeps you grounded?
To retire my mom completely, that she never has to work again. You know, I always promise her I'm going to get her the big house.
Yeah.
That would be the biggest one, really. Just so
Well, you know,
mom,
Angel Reese just did that for her mom.
I know, that's what I'm trying to do. But she's just invested so much in me.
Yeah.
Piano lessons and tutoring.
How much you think she invested in?
Oh my goodness.
How was it? You think it was over 100,000?
It has to be. I mean, piano lessons from the age of 7 to 18. I started doing pageants when I was 16. You know, her taking me to all of these places. Math tutoring, English tutoring. I went to private school for a little bit.
Yeah. Y'all seem to have a really like good relationship. Like
that's my best friend.
Really? Aww. I love that. You know, some people can't really get along with their family members. So, you know, it's rocky sometimes. So it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that. You still live at home?
I don't.
Okay.
So right now I live everywhere. So
okay.
Miss Virginia has an apartment in Roanoke. That's like the headquarters of the pageant. So I'm there a lot of the time. And then I have an apartment in Charlottesville because I'm a student at UVA. And then depending where my appearances are, I go home to Richmond so I can be closer to them.
So you have places here in Richmond too to live?
Yeah. With my mom.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, dang, y'all, they bankrolling over there. Okay. Have you started investing?
I've started investing not in a big way, but in my Roth IRA.
I know you said the Roth. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
so
cool.
I've been doing that. That's like my baby startup.
That's good. Retirement account, that's important to have. Are you curious to explore like any other type of like stocks, or, you know, the interesting thing now is crypto or real estate? Like, are you interested in investing in anything else?
Definitely interested in stocks. And I've been thinking about that app. Is it called Robinhood? Where you can start that process. So I'm just trying to learn more about it before I dive into it.
Okay.
But definitely interested.
Okay. I love it. What does financial freedom look like to you? Not just in dollars. Well, actually, since I brought it up, what is your number? Like, what number would you need to be like, all right, cool, my mom retired. I can travel whenever I want. I don't really have to go back to work. Just go do what I want. What number would that be for you?
I don't know if I thought about this. $1 million.
1 million?
A few million.
Okay. A few million.
A few million. And for me, that would look like being able to do what I love and invest in my creative projects. So a professor is like will be my day job, and it gives me the security and the benefits that I need. But I think financial freedom would give me that ability to invest in my creative projects, like my original music and touring and bands and musicians, and also thinking about my community service. I can invest into that and make it as big as I want to without having the burden of raising those funds.
So are you like on tour and like, or are you like in a studio? Are we like, should we expect the album? Like, what's going on with that?
You should expect the album coming soon.
Breaking news alert.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
So it's called Growing Pains. And it's just...
Ooh. That hit me. I like that. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it's just about being in your 20s and you're trying to figure everything out. You know, you're not a kid anymore, but you don't feel like you quite have the tools to be a grown-up. You're a young Christian and you're trying to follow God's way, but you're trying to fit in with your friends and it's not quite working. So the album chronicles a lot of that. I had an EP release concert at George Mason last year. Not a release concert, but like a preview concert so everyone could hear it. And it's coming soon. You might can expect a single on June 28th.
Oh, nice. What's the single called?
Inside.
Inside, okay. And I don't even know if this question is relevant, but is it like, are you like an alto, soprano? Like what?
I'm a bass.
For real?
No, I'm a...
I was like, oh, we're full of surprises around here.
No, I'm an alto. I have a low voice. I've had this voice all my life.
Yeah, you know what? You give me Beyonce vibe. Like the voice, the voice is real. Like, cause you know she got that low,
the low voice when she talks.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I've had this voice all my life. I sang with the boys in choir in elementary school.
Okay.
And yeah. So.
All right. How was it meeting Carlton Banks? That's not his name, but. How was it meeting him from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
It was wonderful. So I was a part of the Apple Blossom Festival, which is a huge celebration of the apple blossoms in springtime in Winchester. And I love that event because the community comes together and they really invest in bringing out the best celebrities. Mm-hmm. They have the best food. Just seeing the community come together. And he was the grand marshal for the parade.
Okay.
But... he was the grand marshal, but Miss Virginia was also considered a celebrity. So we went to like this private. Yeah, it still shocks me. So we went to this like house and we had like a breakfast and they brought him in, and he went from my hand. I said, "Oh, nice to meet you."
Wow.
Yes.
So he knew who you were already.
A little bit.
Like,
it was the crown. It was the crown.
Definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, more fire round.
Okay.
Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
I ain't never seen you in sneakers.
It doesn't fit the job.
That's a part of it. It don't fit. That's true. It's all a part of the look. Crown on or crown off? What feels more powerful? I only seen you with the crown on. This is my first time seeing you without the crown on. So I'm like, which one do you like better?
That's hard. But I'm gonna say crown off.
Okay.
Because I feel like Miss Virginia, Carlehr, they're the same person. And every place I go, I always show up as the same person. So the crown, when people see it, initially, it gets their attention. But what keeps them engaged, is me.
Okay. Do you pack snacks in your pageant bag?
Yes, that's something I had to learn along the way, because the first few months I would go out on these trips and I would say, it's okay, I'll get food, and then I'll come home, and then Lord, by the time I would get home, I'd fall up in the house. So I have like a little Greek yogurt, I have a little Smart popcorn.
Yeah, okay.
I have the mixed nuts, the walnuts, and the pecans.
Okay.
Little peanut protein bars. I got a lot of snacks.
I got you. Can you walk in heels for more than 6 hours straight?
I'm sure I have.
I'm sure you have. Have you ever said no to an opportunity?
Yes.
Which one?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
no, it's been so many. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I don't know. I think really it just comes down to like scheduling, or if something doesn't align with me. But most likely I say yes, but I'm sure I have said no along the way.
Okay, cool. Do you feel financially prepared for life after Miss Virginia?
I do.
You do?
I do. Saving has been a big part of it. And then you get a lot of free stuff as Miss Virginia. Free clothes. You get a car for the year.
A car?
The car is just for the year, but,
I had no idea that this was a job, because I would be in here in a dress and heels. Competing if I knew that. What kind of car is it?
It's a 2024 Hyundai Tucson. It's a hybrid. It's good on gas. Has all the bells, the whistles, and things and such.
Okay. What else you get? You get a car, you get clothes. Are they like the dress you have on right now? That
I think my mama got me this
your
dress,
mom got you, okay.
But a lot of clothes. I get.
Okay.
I can go into stores. A lot of our sponsors, they'll give me free things. Hair sponsors.
How does someone ask? Like, I guess the sponsorships go through somebody else, then they come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you pick and choose, or they kind of pick for you?
So the organization, they have partnerships with different sponsors.
Okay.
And then as Miss Virginia, part of my job is like to be an ambassador for the organization, but also for the different sponsors. So for example, if I get a dress from someone, and then I have a certain amount of social media posts that I make thanking them for the dress or making videos for their business. So it's kind of like a bartering system.
Okay. And do you have, so on the team, the pageant team, is there a team? Because you saying social media, then you got to be at this place, then you got the house in Roanoke, and then you do the radio show. Who's steamrolling this? Is it you and mom?
So there is a team. So there's like a business manager.
Okay.
There's a social media and marketing person, and then there's the directors of the pageant, and things like that. So there's people that make sure, here's your schedule, this is what you have to do. But far as getting yourself there, that's my responsibility.
Well, in the car that they gave you, right?
Yes, in the car that they gave me, so it's good.
That's what's up. Okay. Winning the pageant. How many pageants did you go through before you won this one?
So 7 times in a state pageant, but maybe I would say 10 local pageants. So to get to Miss Virginia, you have to win a local pageant. And sometimes I've had, a great opportunity and God blessed me and I won on the first try in those local pageants. But then there was one pageant season where I did like 5 local pageants. So sometimes it just depends. But I would say maybe 10 in total that I've done.
Okay. 10 before you got this W. And how many people were you competing against?
About 30 girls.
30 girls? Wow. From all different states, I guess?
All different parts of Virginia.
Oh, okay. All different parts of Virginia. Okay. And was it like you and a runner-up? Because I'm thinking about that Steve Harvey situation.
Oh, Lord.
Wait. So you've beaten out everybody, and then there's 2, you and a runner-up. What was it like when you heard your name? Like, were you expecting to hear your name? Were you just like, oh yes, I got her?
It was weird. It was
weird.
I felt very calm.
Okay.
I felt at peace.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was just saying, I'm blessed either way. The whole week felt like that for me. Like, I've been to Miss Virginia a lot of times, but everything just felt really easy. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time with the contestants and going to the other events. So when it came down to the 2 of us, I just was thinking, I'm blessed either way. And then when they called my name, all that composure I had just fell out.
Yeah.
And I was crying uncontrollably because, one, I saw myself winning in a dream, but it didn't happen that year. And so I felt like God just fulfilled his purpose in my life. And he showed me, I wrote a song on the album called Wait. And it's about waiting for, God to do something in your life. You see everybody else having their moment and their opportunity, but when is it going to be my turn? And so I felt like in that moment that it was just like, finally my turn.
Yeah. You spitting. You spitting right now. Because I pray that a lot too. And I actually got upset with God one day, and I'm like, God, this is why I don't talk to you, God, because you be taking too long to answer my prayers. I don't know what. And then 12 hours from that, he gave me a blessing. And he said blatantly, clearly, I was like, God got a little attitude too. I was like, he said, the reason why I don't be answering your prayers on time is because you don't thank me on time.
Oh. Ooh.
Like, oh well, guess you told me. So that's something that I really resonated with, that patience aspect.
Yeah, and then I realized he was molding me into something. I wasn't ready. Like, I was ready far as I know I could do the job and I could show up and I can look pretty, but I think he just wanted to mold me. He wanted to make sure that I was who he needed me to be, to meet these kids, to talk and speak life into them, the different sponsors I encounter, people I just see, walking down the hallway and they say, what are you doing today? So it wasn't really about winning. It was about what he wanted to do in my life through this process.
Yeah, and I hear you talk about the kids a lot too. I can tell you really love what you do with them, and it really impacts you. You want to be a professor. Are you gonna be a teaching kids or adults, or do you have a certain type of person you want to teach?
So all this time I've been saying, I want to teach college students. I just love teaching college students, and a college is an opportunity for students to come to a place and they learn something different, and you can kind of be the catalyst for that moment. But then I went on this school tour and I was like, you have an opportunity to shape kids and mold them and just teach them about the wide array of opportunities before they even get to college. So definitely still want to be a professor, but I do want to be involved in the school system and impacting kids and just showing them. I think role models are so important.
Yeah.
I went to one school and this girl, kids always give me things. And she gave me a piece of paper that she drew and she said, "You look like me." A little black girl. And so in that moment, I knew it was important for kids to see me, or just not just because of the crown, but because of school, education, anything, just to see someone having an opportunity to let them know that they too can do that.
Yeah, we had the director of marketing for Radio 1 up here, but she said the reason why she wanted to do that is because of True Jackson VP with Keke Palmer. Like, she's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, marketing? She was a marketer? I want to do that. So, and I was going to ask you that too. Doing this in the capacity of being black, a black young girl raised by a black mother, how has that been for you? Has that been something that you've noticed? I don't want to sound like ignorant or crazy when I'm asking. I just want to, like, you just seem like this is for you and you're in your element. So I just want to know, has that been something that has affected you?
I think it's important to remember, like, the time period that the pageant started. Miss America started in the 1920s. And that was a very different time in our country. And so I think whenever you think of an organization that's created in 1920, it's not necessarily created with us in mind.
Right.
So I think it takes a lot of showing up, saying, this is who I am, and this is why I'm here, and this is what I bring to this organization.
Yeah. All right. If I wanted to start being in pageants,
okay,
what is the first thing I should do?
So first, I think it's the why.
The why?
Like, what is your why?
I want a 2024 hybrid for a year.
That's not a good why.
And I want an apartment in Roanoke, and I want to hang out with Carlton Banks.
It's not a good why.
Dang, what's a good why? To impact?
To impact the work that you do in your community.
Okay.
Having a bigger platform to share the things that you're passionate about.
Okay.
So I think the why is really important. And then I think once I realized my why, it made the interview so much easier, because I say I'm growing out of it. Well, I call myself an extroverted introvert. And growing up, I thought I was just so shy. So let me tell you, I originally started doing pageants because someone heard me singing at a funeral, and they went back and told people at my mom's job, and I got invited to do a pageant. So I got into pageants because of singing and playing the piano, and I thought it was a great opportunity to showcase my talent. So my mom said, "You want to do this pageant?" I said, "Okay, I'll do the pageant." Didn't think that I would have to, like, talk in front of people, and then I would have a private interview, and then I would have to walk in front of people. So interview really scared me because I wasn't used to just talking to people or expressing my opinions. But I think when I got better at interviews, when I started to think, okay, why am I doing this? What impact can I have? Instead of focusing on what are the right answers, what are the answers that are true to me? So that's like the first part, just really thinking about your why, who you are as a person, because a lot of the questions and a lot of the job is that, like, what's your 5-year plan? Why do you want this title? What can you bring to this organization? So figuring out those things for yourself.
What is your why?
The little girls that I meet. Because I saw someone, I started in the teen program, and I had a Miss Delisha Watson, and she's just well spoken. She went to George Mason because she went to George Mason. I went to George Mason. So she was a wonderful role model for me. And I said, that's what I want to do for other young girls, and just letting them know that they have this opportunity to achieve success. And also this platform that I'm having with my music and being able to share it and showing how music isn't just about performing on a stage. It's not just an easy major that people go to school for. It really has some impact on people.
Ooh, okay. So I got my why. Now what's next?
Okay, and then once you have your why, once you got it all figured out, practice.
Okay.
Watching the news, knowing all of the current events that are happening, formulating opinions on them, and then just like drilling yourself with like the interviews.
Well, since you brought it up.
Uh-oh.
I'm not even gonna ask a specific question.
Okay.
I just want to know, is something going on in the news right now that you have an opinion about?
Lots of opinions about lots of things.
Well, recently, something that I saw, because I think that one of the only good things about Trump being president is that people are paying more attention now to what's going on. Probably out of necessity and probably out of fear that, you know, something's going to get taken away from them, or, you know, another COVID's going to come back. Who knows? I don't know. Elon Musk recently just kind of like went off on Trump and kind of like exited himself from the cabinet, or I'm not sure if he exited himself from Doge or what. What are your thoughts on this breakup?
I think they both have creative and innovative personalities.
Yeah.
And I think that partnership seemed unusual from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's not shocking.
Absolutely. I mean, and the thing is, people were really, I'm people. I was judging. I'm like, bro, can you please get out of the Oval Office? Like, you inserting yourself and your opinions into the wrong conversations. But then I'm thinking about it too. I went back and looked at it as an entrepreneur. If I have the biggest, because let's just go ahead and be honest, he has the biggest AI company in the world, Tesla. Like, you know, so if I had that and I had a chance to be close to the president, like the purse strings, I probably would do it too. I'm just gonna say, like, I probably would be in there too. And then Trump is saying too that Elon is mad because they cut funding along with a lot of other funding, which includes Social Security, SNAP, all those things. They cut it for EVs as well. That's why Trump is saying Elon. So it's just like a lot of going back and forth. So I think you're right. Like, I don't know.
And then I think about it too from like an educational standpoint. Yeah. Like, I want to be a professor, so I have to go through a rigorous process, a dissertation and qualifying exam. So I think I look as a PhD student for people to have academic background, to have research, to show themselves approved in these positions. So I just look at it from like an educational standpoint as well.
Educational standpoint, okay. I like that. Well, I wonder if the funding for Miss Virginia, because I think what you do is great. Like, if that is involved too in these cuts, like, how do you feel about that? If that's something that was gonna get cut, it would be disappointing, but like, how would you feel about that?
Yeah. So the Miss Virginia pageant, Miss America, is nonpartisan.
Okay.
But I think people need to know what the pageant is. Hopefully nothing like that will ever come close to the pageant, because it's all about scholarships and community service and giving, young ladies an opportunity no matter where they're from, what they're doing. So it's really a benefit that more people need to know about.
Got you. And we have a few more minutes left. I just got some little questions I want to know. What music you listening to right now? Like, what artist is like that you playing in the car or at home?
Well, most recently, I just listened to Faith Evans' whole album because she was on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
They were talking about her songwriting and how she produces all of her backgrounds. So I had to check it out.
You had to check it out. How was it?
It was wonderful.
Your project?
It was wonderful. It sounds like she was talking to the Lord. Like, they're all love songs, but if you listen, she's talking about heart and soul. And talking about the Lord.
Okay. I love it. So now that brings me, what's your space? What's your creative space to create music? Like, are you writing at home? Are you waiting to go to the studio? Like, How does that? How do you?
I like
create
to
that?
write at home in my
Okay.
childhood bedroom. That's where
Oh,
I
okay.
wrote a lot of the songs that are coming out. And I think songwriting was really hard for me initially because I wanted to write songs like what I heard on the radio. Like I want to be Beyonce and Chris Brown
Yeah.
and write like them or
Yeah.
the songs that they make. And I realized, well, that's not me. Like
Yeah.
that's why it's not happening. So when I started to write about things like God and spirituality and my life and what I'm experiencing, that's when the songs just started to just happen easily.
Okay. I'm way left than you, I think. I like Glorilla right now. I think that any beat that she drops is amazing. And not everybody can do that. Like, that's a talent.
Don't get me wrong. I love Gloria Hallelujah
Yes,
Woods.
ma'am.
I do love
Yes.
her. Every day the sun will shine. But that's why I love Tomorrow.
Hey.
I love Glorilla.
Yes. She got a new one out too on rapping on Keisha Cole's beat, and it's like, oh, it's so hard. It's a good verse, and it's like the girls like Nicki, Cardi, Meg. A lot of people have put Nicki at the top, but I don't know. Glow might be coming for the title soon. She might be coming for the title.
I like
soon.
this whole new era of women rappers because I feel like it's they work together, they collaborate with each other, they pick each other up. It's like it's a true team. It's not a competition. So
I love it.
I love that.
it. All right. When the crown comes off, the mic is silent. Stage lights are dim. Everybody has gone home. What do you hope people remember most about you?
Many things.
Yeah.
That they saw the light of the Lord. That's something I always pray, like to move me out of the way. Any encounter I have, any person. This job was hard, being in the car hours at a time. And some days I'm like, I don't want to get up. This is just so hard. What am I going to do? But before I would go into that place, I would say, Lord, just shine your light through me. Move me out the way. And so I hope they remember that they saw that light and they felt inspired to do something. They wanted to know what that light was.
That's why I say this couch is divine. Nobody comes here that's not supposed to be here. Because that's my prayer too. Like anytime somebody see me, I want them to see God. Not that I want to be God, but like I want them to feel something. I want them to feel hope or gratitude or something like thankfulness. I don't know. Thank you so much for coming by, sharing your heart, your wisdom, and your journey with us today. Go ahead and shout out your social media if you have any events coming up, how we can support you. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
First, I've had a great time.
Absolutely.
You can follow me on Instagram at car.lee.uh. You can check out my music on iTunes, Spotify, Carlehr. Watch me on YouTube, Carlehr Swanson. Coffee with Carlehr every Sunday on 101.3 Jams. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been an amazing episode of Conversations Unearthed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And peace. That's it. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Good.
It was fun.